Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event. Let's get ready to rumble!
Hello everybody and welcome to our feature match today. It's Grixis Control versus Green-White Tokens. Now the Control player did have the mulligan to 6 and it looks like he kept his scry on top. The Control player is on the play, so we'll see how his first turn turns out. And it's going to be a tap land, which is honestly the best thing for control decks, is having your tap lands come in turn 1, so it's untapped and you on color turn 2. So the token player plays Oath of Nessa, which is really great because it helps smooth out their hand if they need land or a threat, which it looks like this token player does get with an Archangel of Tithes. And it also has the added benefit of smoothing out their mana when they want to cast out Planeswalkers. So the Control player does not have a turn 2 play. You might be holding up a Curse Spell. Token player is gonna reveal a Plains and cast a Hangleback Walker. Now, Hangleback Walker is really annoying for control decks to deal with because you don't really want to just straight kill it. If you can, you want to exile it so there's no Thopters left behind. But it's something that you want to get off the board as soon as possible. The more counters that go on it, the more annoying it becomes. So the token player plays his third land. And again, the Grixis Control player just passed up with 3 mana up. And so here's another Oath of Nessa, which is great because it cycles and gets the effect again. So the token player gets, I think that was a Nessa. I'm sorry about the glare, it's really hard to see. So the Grixis Control player is doing nothing and looks like is waiting for the right time to fire up this Coil Guns command. So he's going to destroy target artifact, which is going to be the Hangleback Walker, and cause the token player to discard. Now the reason he waited so long on that was that he didn't want the token player to grow the Hangleback in response. So all that, he didn't have it until his turn 4. But as it stands, no Hangleback on the board, but there is a Thopter. And so here's that Archangel of Tithes. So it is a flyer, and it does have a decent body, so it's rather nice. And here's that Thopter coming in. And Ultimate Price takes care of the Angel. Now, Ultimate Price is really good removal right now, considering that a lot of decks are playing mono-colored creatures. Oh, but here's another Hangleback for 2 this time. So this board state's getting worse and worse for the control player. So even if you remove the Hangleback, which you did with Grasp of Darkness, there was those 2 Thopters. And you're eventually going to need a board wipe for those Thopters because you would not have enough 1-for-1 removal. Here they are, bashing in for 3. So here's a Jace from the control player, which might be a little too little too late. So it looks like the token player is going to cast Secure the Waste at the end of the control player's turn, which is a great time to do it, because if they tap out to counter it or literally do anything, it leaves you open, free reign to do whatever you want on your turn. And this is a lot of tokens. If he has a Anthem effect, as in Nissa or Gideon, this could be lethal, but it doesn't look like he has it, so he just attacks in, taking 7 damage and losing none of his creatures. Okay, here's Jace, which he will flip after this activation. He'll probably get Kolaghan's Command, since that's the only card in his graveyard that can take care of 2 of these threats. Everything else would just take care of 1, and it's the most mana efficient. Again, with Kolaghan's Command, you can destroy target artifact and deal 2 damage to target creature or player. So you can destroy the Thopter and hit a warrior for 2, which is exactly what the control player is going to do. It's going to choose to destroy the Thopter and deal 2 damage to the warrior. So what the draw was off the second Oath of Nissa was actually an Archangel Avacyn, which the control player knew and was waiting for it, and did an ultimate price to get rid of the Avacyn. Unfortunately, that still means those 2 attackers are on board, and with this pump from Nissa is just going to be lethal. So we'll move on to game 2. This is a rather hard match for the Grixis Control specifically, because they have Radiant Flames as a sweep ball, and that's about it, I believe. So it's going to be hard for them to take care of all these little guys. So here's a Thraben Inspector, which is really interesting to me. I don't think I know a lot of token decks that are running the Inspector. You mainly only see it in human decks. But it might be a sideboard card. I'm not 100% sure. But getting a clue off the Inspector is really good. So it was just tap lands for the control player on turn 1 and turn 2. And the tokens player is going to bash in with the Inspector and cast a Hangleback on 1. And so here's Kolaghan's Command again, destroying the Thopter and dealing 2 damage to the Inspector. Now Kolaghan's Command is amazing. It's seeing modern play because it's just so good for 3 mana. It's a discard spell, it's a damage spell, it's a destroy artifact spell. It's really great at instant speed. So here's a Nissa, and I would assume it's going to be plussed, and make a plant token, as there's not really anything you want to pump. You don't want to waste a Nissa's minus just to put 1/+1 counter on 1 creature. And so here's a Read the Bones. Probably the best draw spell in black. You might say that Painful Truths is better in this 3-color deck, but being able to potentially look at 4 cards might be better than just drawing 3 blind cards. So as the control player, even though this doesn't seem that crazy, you might just want to draw into a removal for the Planeswalker, because you could probably handle the 2 tokens on your own time if the Planeswalker's not down. So here's a minus, which means the plant token's actually going to be able to attack in for damage. So this is where it starts to get awkward for the control player, because the tokens player is just going to keep playing token productions. The NIS is going to keep making plants, and then it's going to keep minusing to make everything just huge, and so many of them. So the control player is on a real clock, and it needs to find something really soon. So here's the Ruinous Path, which does take care of the Nessa, which is exactly what you need to do. It gives you just enough breathing room to take care of these creatures in your own time. So the tokens player cracks the clue that he got from the turn 1 Inspector, potentially refilling up his hand a little bit. So here's the 5th mana. Let's see what the token player does. He could probably attack in for another 3. The control player has a red up, which might mean a Fiery Impulse. Ooh. So here's another Nissa, which is going to make another plat, which is perfectly fine, because when it minuses next turn, it'll be that much more damage because of the extra plant token instead of the short-term extra damage. So here's Duress, which is great because it's going to be able to take out a Gideon, which would have been really bad news. That would have been 2 Anthem effects, which probably would have been lethal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Would have been close to lethal. But then you don't want to be that. So here the control player is really trying to dig. He doesn't want to lose life because he's going to be taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage this turn. Next turn, if he does not remove any of these creatures, because I would assume that the NIS is going to minus. So what I would assume the control player is digging for is probably Radiant Flames, just to wipe the board to gain a little breathing room. And so here's that Nissa minus and all the counters on everything. And here's a pretty big swing. So even if the control player has a sweeper that takes care of everything, he would still need a removal spell on top of that to just not die this next turn. So here's the Radiant Flames for 3, but the tokens player has Dromoka's Command, which is going to prevent the damage and save his team, and it's lethal next turn. So that's a pretty rough matchup for specifically Grixis Control, because they don't have access to a lot of board wipes. Black-White Control has Languish, which a lot of decks like that go up to the 4/4, which makes this a bit better. But as you saw, the main problem was getting rid of Hangleback Walker and getting rid of the Planeswalkers. Because without the Planeswalkers, there are a bunch of little dudes that you can take care of really easy. So I hope you guys enjoyed the match. It was really short. Hopefully the next one will be a bit longer and a bit more exciting. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, like, subscribe, share, social media jazz. See you next time.